Okay. So the two cards that echo this theme here right off the bat, we have here the Ten of Crystals. This is the Ten of Pentacles and the Sun. Okay. I literally feel like for many of you, there is a new job that's going to be making its arrival. That's announcing its arrival. So I literally see like messages, good news, a sparkling, they say like a sparkling drop of sunshine. Okay. And I feel like this is going to be some sweet, amazing news that you have long awaited for regarding a job situation. And I feel for many of you, this is something that's going to be putting you in the limelight. With the sun, there is a lot of visibility, okay? It's like a high-powered job where a lot of people are going to be looking at what you're doing. A lot of people might be reviewing what you're doing. It's like no matter what, you can't dodge the limelight. A lot of people might be looking at you, looking for you, and so everything that you're doing is going to be noticed by other people. And once again, this can be, a double-edged sword, right? In one way, it brings about fame and respect and a lot of like people looking up to you, literally. And in another capacity, it could indicate, scrutiny, public scrutiny, being in the limelight. And so you're going to draw public scrutiny. And so scrutiny sounds like such a bad word, and it seems to, carry with it a negative connotation. But what I feel in general is you have to make sure that you are acting right, and you have to make sure that whatever you decide to do, you have a just cause for doing it. Because I feel like people might ask you, people might ask why you have to ask you to justify your decision, to justify why you took a specific course of action, or why you decide on this and not that. And so a lot of the times too, I feel like, Capricorns, you guys are like the lone wolf of the zodiac, okay? You are almost like the Aquarius in that you're very strong-minded, you're very willful, independent as well. And being a lone wolf, you know what you need to do. You know what you have to do. You are capable of knowing yourself really well, knowing your skills, knowing your capabilities, knowing how to get yourself from A to B. And so explaining your decisions, explaining your actions to another person has never been your forte. Okay. You've never needed to justify what you do to other people. You've never needed to explain yourself. And so I feel that in this new environment, the main challenge might be having to over-explain, having to explain to people, maybe multiple times to multiple people, because those people believe in different things. And so I feel in a way where it's not like you're not making excuses for what you're doing, but you're explaining to people why you made these executive decisions to do what you did. And I feel as if, if you're not in a position if you have not been in a position in the past where you have to do these things, it can feel a little bit like foreign territory, right? It can feel like everyone is out to get us, right? Here's this predator. Okay. This is somebody who's like, basking in the limelight, being very, very happy. And I'm getting like more of a predatory stance with this. And so I just want you to know, fame and fortune and visibility and all of that, it is a double-edged sword in that we have to be on the up and up about everything that we do. We have to be accountable for ourselves. And in a way, you have always been accountable for yourself, for your actions. But then I also feel like you've never had to defend it either. And so in this capacity, I feel that, stick to your guns and say whatever you need to say. I do feel that, you're going to be I feel like this newfound financial resources comes with it, an equal dose of responsibility, a lot of fame, and also being in the limelight where you have to change your image, or you have to, justify your decisions to other people because they're seeking to understand. Okay. It's not like they're trying to undermine you, but it might feel that way from your perspective if they're asking all these questions. So just know that when they're asking all these questions, it's really because they're trying to understand. All right. And they're coming to you because they believe you're the person with the expertise, and they're trying to understand your perception on why you chose a specific course of action. I almost feel like they're coming in to kind of pick your brain. Okay. I feel that you're very hesitant in this new role. That's what I'm feeling here. And so let me talk about the, I guess, like, what's allowing new energy to come in. We have here the 9 of Cups, okay? This is wish fulfillment. This is like getting what we want. So for many of you, this is status, prestige, having authority, being seen in a very big way, being respected, being looked up to, okay? And we have the Magician, okay? And the Magician is all about manifesting. Okay. This is somebody who has, with that infinity symbol and with the crow imagery, this is somebody who's very powerful. This is somebody who, I feel for many of you, you've been working really, really, really hard at your job, wanting that corner office, wanting that recognition, wanting that pay increase, wanting that, I want to say, like, that step up, okay? The natural progression of things, okay? And you are also aware of your capability, and you're just like, I know I can do this, okay? And so you've been eyeing it, and you've been thinking about it, and you've been wanting it for quite some time. And I feel like with this energy here, wish fulfillment and manifesting something that you really have long ago, like, you have wanted this and you've wished for it for such a long time, you're finally getting it. And I do see the trepidation, okay? This is all about stepping out of your comfort zone, okay? I think of this as kind of like the iceberg melting, okay? Softening your energy, not being icy and aloof and cold, because I feel like in a lot of ways, Capricorns can be a little bit aloof, okay? You care just like everybody else, but I feel like emotions are not expressed on your face. You're very even keeled. You're very, I want to say, like, poker faced. Okay. And so I feel like it takes a lot to thaw you. Okay. It takes a lot to break that icy facade. And I also feel that it takes a lot for you to break out a character. But I see a process where you're dealing or working with a lot of people, and I feel that it's melting that icy exterior. And I feel an old way of doing melting away to pave way for something a lot more authentic, a lot more that will bring you a lot more emotional fulfillment. So I definitely feel in the career field, there's something big, okay, that's breaking through. And then I also feel a lot of trepidation and hesitation on your end, okay? On the one hand, 7 of Pentacles, working really, really hard, forward movement, forward progression. I'm sorry, this is the 7 of Pentacles, the crystals. So you've worked really hard, and you know your capabilities, you know how far you can go without getting tired. Okay. And so I feel for many of you, you're going to be very busy for the month of February. And I also feel a lot of fear here. 9 of Swords. Okay. Once again, this is like the little, insecurities coming through. Okay. Am I good enough? Am I capable enough? Do I have all the skills? Am I, relaying the information a little bit too harsh to that person? Am I being diplomatic enough to this person? Am I considering all points of view? Is there anything else I need to do to soften up? So I feel if you have been, historically considered like aloof, a little bit distant, a little bit cold, a little bit prickly even, I'm sensing that you're going to have to learn either learn it as a skill of survival. Like, for example, if you're in an office environment, you have to learn to be very diplomatic when you speak. You have to learn to soften the blow when you're giving somebody negative reviews, for example. You're going to have to learn to, it's like watching our tongue a little bit. Learning how the things we say in our head, it might be, oh, it's just a joke, or I'm just being sarcastic. But somebody else might not take it that way, and they might take offense to it, or they might misinterpret it. So we're trying to be a little bit careful about the way we communicate and the ways in which other people might misinterpret the things that we say. And so I feel like you're on watchful, like you're checking yourself. You know, you're checking yourself to make sure that what you say is coming off exactly the way that you planned it, and that you want to make sure that the other person gets it. So I do feel you're softening up your energy. You're learning to be a lot more diplomatic when dealing with people. You might even have to bite your tongue when in cases where you want to say something. And I feel a lot of this has to do with the fact that whatever new environment that you're finding yourself in now, the situation has changed, okay? The situation has changed. I'm also sensing as well, when it comes to communication, Page of Swords, okay? This is look at this creature. It's a little bit shy. It's a little bit like skittish, okay? So raccoons are like scavengers. I always see them of like, creatures that dig through trash can, that dig through and eat our refuse. And I usually think of this as somebody who would bolt at the first sign of trouble, or at the first sign of like some unexpected noise. So this is someone who's very skittish, who is very possibly, I'm also seeing like very, very afraid of rejection, very afraid of criticism, okay? Inferiority complex. Not sure if they're capable, not sure if they're good enough. And I also feel like one of the major challenge for you when it comes to these nudges of self-doubt coming through is, am I good enough? Do I have all the skills? Am I going to be able to, tackle all of these responsibilities? Am I going to be able to, this is the 10 of Wands, by the way. Am I going to be able to hold my head up high and valiantly gallop into the night with whatever it is, that bundle I need to carry? Am I going to be able to succeed? Okay. So the greatest challenge for a Capricorn person is not about, what life brings, but I feel that you're always in a position to want to test yourself. You want to test your endurance. You want to test your capabilities, okay? And you always like to exceed your limit, okay? And I feel like all of these are very calculated and measure ways in which you want yourself to grow, okay? To develop to your full potential in small increments at a time. And so you are very aware of your limitations, of your weaknesses, of your hang-ups, of your skills even. And so I feel like everything in its totality is being tested for this month. And I can say, honestly, you're going to be on top, and you're going to come out with a lot of people rooting for you and on your side, because this is about career success, getting your time in the sun, getting a lot of visibility, getting a lot of respect from people. So career success is really picking up, as well as financial abundance that comes with it, okay? This is experiencing almost like, it's not a drought. It's a situation where water is returning. You can come back into the water. You don't have to live in a dry, parched environment. So I definitely feel with this newfound success, finances is looking very good, okay? So the things that we need to be a little bit careful as we progress through the month of February is, especially at the very beginning of it, where we're dealing with self-doubt. We're dealing with a little bit of anxiety and worries about our skills, about our assessments, about whether or not we have made the right call. I'm hearing here the call. It's like the cawing of the crow. okay, or the raven, or a bird, a blackbird. So like, did we make the right call? Did I make the right call? Was this the right call? I'm seeing like those thoughts running through your head quite a bit. And I feel like, you made the right call. You will go through, the first 2 weeks doubting yourself. But, oh, I put the cards in the wrong place. But that sense of self-trust is going to enter the picture, okay? The last two cards that I want to talk about here is we have two fours, okay? Four of shells, four of cups, and four of wands. I always think of it as, four legs to a table, okay? If the table has even four legs, then it doesn't wobble. It doesn't make that annoying wobbly noise whenever we eat on it, whenever we try to study on it, whenever we're, sitting at that table. It doesn't wobble. It's really annoying when a table wobbles, right? You have to like get some cardboard or a piece of napkin and wedge it in one of the legs so that it doesn't wobble. So this is a very foundational type of a year with this number 4. It's about building the legs, measuring, being very, very precise with the measurements so that we can build a very solid table. If the table is built in a very solid way, we can pile books, furniture, TV, laptops, whatever we may on the table. And if it's built sturdily and it won't fall over, it won't collapse, and it won't, spill, like things will not spill from the table. It will not buckle under the pressure. So these two cards is a major reminder for you, not only to, I feel like work is going to be very busy, okay? This is the 10 of Wands. Dealing with a lot of work, burning the midnight oil, staying a lot behind a lot on your work days. And just make sure you are also, life is not about work, and your life is not consumed with work, because there are other areas of your life that makes up your life. And in particular, this is the home front, 4 of Wands. This is like the happy marriage, the happy home. And then this is the 4 of Cups. This is also your emotional, spiritual, physical health. So these are the two areas that I would urge you not to neglect in light of everything that's going on. You're going to be quite busy, but don't neglect all the other areas, because the 4 legs to the table is not just about work. It's work, it's home, it's emotional well-being. It's also financial well-being. So I do feel a need to really balance out and make sure you take care of all the areas in your life that you deem is important, okay?